Hello, it's Sonia here with The Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So today we are going to be making a cowl, and for this project I am going to be using my J hook or 6mm hook, and I'm going to use two different colors. I have this blue. It actually looks brighter on camera than it does in real life, and then I have this multicolored yarn to go with it. So why don't we get started, and this is going to be a hooded cowl. So what you're going to want to do is we are going to work a chain, and I've already made my chain. I'm starting with my multicolored yarn, but you're going to want to chain 196 chains. I know that's a lot, so what you could do is you could add stitch markers. So maybe like every 50 chains just pop in a stitch marker so that you can easily keep track of your chains. But once we get going, it won't be so bad. It's the chain probably, it's not that it's hard, it's just you want to make sure you have the right count. Okay, so let's get started, and we are going to be turning this into a round, but it's going to be row 1 / round 1, I guess. So what you're going to do in the back bump of your chain right here, we are going to work a single crochet. And we're just going to single crochet all the way across for our first row. So at the end of this row you will have 195 single crochet, and you just want to keep working in the back bump there. Okay, so I've worked my single crochet across my chain here in my back bump, so I have 195 single crochet. So now we're going to turn this into a round. So what I like to do is I like to run my thumb and my index finger just along my very long row of single crochet till I get to the end. Because we don't want it to be twisted. Okay, so there is my first stitch I made. So what we're going to do is we are going to work a slip stitch right in that first stitch to join it. So then we have finished up our round 1, and now we're ready to get going for round 2. Now we will be turning with this pattern a bit, but we're not going to turn yet. So I'm going to chain 1, and let's get ready for round 2. So what you're going to do is we are going to work in the same stitch. So you're going to insert your hook in that same stitch, pull up a loop. So we have 2 loops on our hook. So we are going to skip our next stitch right here, and we're going to pull up a loop in the next one. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. So now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of these loops. And this stitch was actually a stitch of the week that I did. I had a series called the Stitch of the Week, and every week I featured a stitch, a crochet stitch, and this was one of them. I forget what it's called, but I can link it below in the description box if you want to go check that out. So now we are going to chain 1. So now we're going to keep going here. We're going to go right back in the same stitch that we worked, pull up a loop. We're going to skip our next stitch and insert our hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through all 3, and we are going to chain 1. And we're going to keep doing this all the way around. So right back in that same stitch, pull up a loop, skip the next stitch, work in the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 1 to complete the stitch. So it's a little cluster stitch right there. So they're all linked together, and we're just going to keep going all the way around. So this should work up pretty quickly, this round, once you got that single crochet round done. So I'm going to keep going here, working all of my stitches all the way around here, and I will meet you back. Alright, so I'm almost at the end of my round here, so I'm going to chain 1. And in our very last stitch we're going to pop in a single crochet just to finish up the round, and then we are going to join in our first stitch with a slip stitch, and then round 2 is complete. So now we are actually going to turn. So we're going to turn our work, and we are going to slip stitch in that last single crochet that we made. So you're just going to pop in that slip stitch and chain 1. And now we're going to get ready for working round 3. So we're going to insert our hook right in that same stitch, pull up a loop. We're going to skip our next stitch. So if you're not sure where that stitch is, if you turn it this way, so you're looking at the tops of your stitches, you can see this is the next stitch, and then that is the next one. So we're skipping this one and we're inserting our hook in that one, and we're pulling up a loop. So now we're going to yarn over, pull through all 3, and chain 1, just like we did for round 2. So we're going to go right back in that stitch, pull up a loop, skip the next one, and go into the next one. And I will break out my other colors soon, I'm just not there yet. And then we're going to chain 1. So for round 3, we're just going to repeat this, and you're going to be repeating round 3 for, I'm not sure how many rounds, but I will let you know. So just keep repeating round 3, and you'll know before I will how many rounds we're going to do. I'm not sure how wide I want this guy, but I'm just going to keep going here, and I will eventually be changing colors, and I'll probably, what I'll do, I'm thinking I'll do 2 rounds of this one, and then I will add the next color, and I'll just carry the colors, because this technically is the wrong side, but I mean it's going to be pretty reversible. But because we're making a hood for this, there will be a right side and a wrong side. So this round 3, your odd rows will be your wrong side. So I'm just going to keep going, repeating round 3. All right here, so I ended up working 11 rows, and now we're going to get ready to do the hood. And as you can see, I actually added some more colors because I realized I wouldn't have enough of just the 2. So some more blue multi. So hopefully it'll all look cute when it's done. So what you're going to want to do is, I cut my yarn here so you can see I did carry my colors. So this is going to be the wrong side. So now we have the right side facing, which is an even row. So all your odd rows will be the wrong side and even rows are the right side. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to count. So this is where we joined here. So from this stitch here, if you can see it right here, because I have it facing the right side, we're going to count 43 stitches from here to here, and I actually marked stitch 43 right here. So you're going to want to attach your yarn, whatever color you're using. So I've attached my yarn right here in stitch 43. And so we're going to chain 1, which I've already done, and we're going to go right back in that same stitch and pull up a loop, and we're just going to continue in our pattern. So I'm skipping this next one and going into the next one, and I'm chaining 1. So I'm going to keep doing this across until I have worked 86 stitches. And again, an easy way to count is if you turn it like this, so the tops of the stitches are facing you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have worked 5. And then stitch 86, remember we always do that single crochet at the end. So pretend this was stitch 86, then I would pop in that single crochet, and then that would make 86. So I'm going to keep going across until I have worked 86 stitches, and then I will meet you back. Okay, so I have worked my 86, well actually I have 85, I need to work one more. So here we go. So I have 85 stitches, and then one more. So this chain 1 actually counts as a stitch there, so that's 85, and then I'm going to single crochet in that same stitch, and there is stitch 86. So now we are going to work row 2, so this is going to be worked in rows. So chaining 1, returning, and we're just going to repeat in our pattern here. So right in that same stitch, pull up a loop, skip the next one, insert in the next, and pull through all 3, chain 1. So I'm not sure how many rows that I need to do here for this hood, so I'm just gonna be working my rows and then I will let you know how many rows. So I'm gonna keep going here, working rows, so you'll know right away, but I got a ways to go yet. So I will meet you back. Okay, so here I am on my hood here. So I ended up working 37 rows. So now we are going to turn this into a hood, and I actually really like this color combination. I added another multicolored yarn, and I think it's really, really pretty actually. So we're going to turn this into a hood. So you want to take the end of the other side of your hood, and you want the right sides to be touching. So this, as you can see, this is my wrong side here. So I just want to flip it the other way. And we're just going to stitch the hood closed. So we are going to chain 1. And now we are ready to go. So I just folded the hood like that. And we're going to stitch it closed. So you're just going to insert your hook into that first stitch. And then on the other side, you're going to insert your hook into that stitch. And we're just going to work a slip stitch. Now you could sew this closed if you would prefer, but I really don't like sewing. So we're stitching it. And then see, there's the top of the stitch there. And there's the top of the stitch there. So we're just going to pop our hook in there. Now some of these stitches will be a little trickier to get your hook in because it's part of that chain 1 of the stitch, but you can definitely get your hook in there and just work that slip stitch. So you're just going to do this all the way across until your hood is stitched closed, and then you will cut your yarn. So I'm just going to keep going here, stitching my hood closed, and then I will meet you back. Okay, so I'm at the end here, so I can pop my hook in there just to kind of close up that hole there and work that last stitch. And now I am going to cut my yarn, and then, as I said before, the hood will be done. Oops, sorry, I bumped the camera. There we go. And then we are going to work on our edging of our cowl. So I'm going to turn this right side out. So you can see at the top we have a nice and neat seam there, and no sewing, so that's a bonus. So regarding this hood, if you found that I had worked 37 rows, if that is not enough, you can actually work more rows until your hood is big enough to fit. You know, I have a smaller head, so I don't want a huge hood, or, you know, if you're making this, I mean, a man could wear this, or if you wanted it smaller, if you were making it for a child. So you can easily adjust the hood height. So now we're going to get ready to work the edging of this, and because I use different colors, I will have some ends to weave in, but you know, that's okay. Okay, so let's work the edging. So I'm going to attach my yarn at this corner here where the hood is, because I don't want my joins to be super noticeable. So right here in this stitch, I'm going to attach. And we are going to chain 1. And this is going to be worked in the round, and it's not going to have any turning. So we did turn with this part of the cowl, but we're not turning with this part. Alright, so we are going to work a single crochet right in that same stitch. And we're just going to continue to single crochet. So I'm working all the way up my hood, down the other side, and then I'm going to reach this other corner and and then I'm going to be working on the tops of the stitches all the way around. I know, I'm sorry, the camera lens is super tiny, but once you're stitching, you just follow around. You're just working all the way around. And so what you're going to want to do is The stitch count isn't super important. You just want to make sure that your stitch count is an even number. That's all you need to worry about. So it doesn't matter if it's 100, 160, 88, 86, you know, as long as, and see, I carried this yarn here, so I'm just going to stitch around it to hide it. And I'm using the same color as I used to carry. I didn't carry these multicolored ones. I didn't carry because it would have been too far of a carry. Or this one, it's just a short carry, so you can easily, so you can see that it's all hidden there. So I'm just going to continue to single crochet. See, there's another carry, just stitching right around that carry. And she's all hidden. So I'm just going to keep going here. Sorry, I'm not done stitching around here. I can't remember if I said to attach the yarn on the right side. So you want the right side facing when you attach your yarn in the corner there. So just make sure that you have right side facing, and then just stitch your even number of single crochet all the way around the hood and the cowl part, and then you will join in your first stitch. And so I'm going to keep going here and I will meet you back. Okay, so I'm almost done my edging here. So I'm at stitch 184, so I want to make 2 more, so I have 186. So that equals, or that is an even number, because you want it divisible by 2. So that's 185, and then 186. And then I'm going to join with a slip stitch in my first stitch. So you can shoot for 186 if you want to, but if you made your hood taller or shorter, then that will affect your stitch count. So as I said before, stitch count isn't super important as long as it's divisible by 2, it's an even number. And also you just want to make sure when you're stitching around the hood that your stitches are just nice and evenly spaced across. You don't want them to be too bunchy or too spread apart. So, you know, just keep that in mind when you're stitching around the hood, because you're working on the ends of the rows. Now the part of the cowl, it's easier because you can just work on top of the stitches. You know, you still have to wiggle your hook into that chain 1 space, which is a little tricky, but you know, it's not too bad. Okay, so let's get ready for round 2 here. So round 2 is going to be a very simple round. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to double crochet right in that same stitch. So there is our double crochet, and you're just going to continue to double crochet all the way around for round 2. And then when you get to round 3, so what you'll do is you're going to join in your first stitch with a slip stitch right here on top of this double crochet. You're going to chain 1, single crochet in that same stitch, and you're going to single crochet all the way around for round 3. So round 2 is double crochet, round 3 is single crochet, and I will meet you back at the end of round 3. Alright, so I have finished up my round 2 and my round 3, and now I'm going to get ready to work round 4, and I'm just using a different color. You don't have to use all these different colors. I just didn't have enough of one color to make this entire project, so I had to get a little creative with the colors. But you know, you can certainly you know, do whatever, use as many colors as you like or not. Okay, so let's get started for round 4. So round 4, I'm chaining 1. I've already chained 1 right here, and we are just going to work a double crochet right in that same stitch. And now we are going to work a front post double crochet around the next one. So we're not going to work in the single crochet. So we're working the alpine stitch, which I think is a really pretty stitch, and I think that'll make a really pretty edging for this project. So that's the front post double crochet, and then your next single crochet, you're working a double crochet. So you're just alternating across, so working double crochet in the single crochet, and then your next stitch, front post double crochet. And it just creates a really pretty fabric there. So I'm working that double crochet. So when you work the front post double crochet, you're just skipping that single crochet and jumping right to that double crochet to create that post stitch. So just alternating double crochet, front post double crochet, double crochet, front post double crochet all the way around. And then your round 5, you're going to work a single crochet all the way around. So I'm going to keep going in my alpine stitch here, and then I'm going to work single crochet, and then I will meet you back at the end of round 5. Okay, so I have finished up round 5. That was my single crochet round. So let's get ready for round 6. So I'm going back to this blue. So we are going to chain 1, and we are going to work a front post double crochet around this double crochet. So we're doing the alpine stitch, the other part of it. It's worked in, well, I guess it's 4 parts because you have the actual post stitching and then in between you work the single crochet. So we worked the front post double crochet there, and then the next stitch will be a double crochet in that single crochet, and then the next one we're working that front post double crochet. So for this one we're starting off with the post stitch and then the double crochet, post stitch, double crochet. And then in the previous one we started off with the double crochet and then the post stitch. So you're just flip-flopping back and forth, and it gives you that really pretty staggered effect there. So I'm going to keep going around, and then for round 7 you're just working a single crochet round. And I'm not sure if that'll be the last round or not. I'm going to see how wide it is and how I like it, and I will let you know. So I'll meet you back at the end of round 7. Okay, so I finished up here with my row 7, and I think that's wide enough for the border. I think it looks really nice. So I am going to cut my yarn, and then we will be all set here. So what you're going to need to do to finish this guy up is you will need to weave in your ends, and if you need to block it, then certainly do that. And I have quite a bit of ends that I need to weave in, so I better get started on that. But I hope you enjoyed this project, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.